Okay, so this is going to be a quick demonstration video about how you can use your calculator's regression function to find the equation of a quadratic or a parabola. This is one of the standard sort of tasks in Math 20-1, and we can let our calculator kind of do the walking for us. It's a great way of checking your answer. Now, if I were doing this by hand, I would first plot these points. There's 1, 4, and 2, 7, and 3, 4. So I can kind of see that my parabola is going to do something like that. And it certainly looks like, because these points have the same y values, that this point is the vertex. So what I can say is, okay, it's going to be y equals x minus 2 squared plus 7. And then I need to find my a value, that multiplier. And what I do is put in one of these other points. I'd go 4 equals a times 1 minus 2 squared plus 7. And this is going to be 4 equals a. Negative 1 squared is just 1 plus 7. So subtract 7, and my a equals negative 3. So my equation then would be y equals negative 3 x minus 2 squared plus 7. Now, here's how we can use our calculator to do the same thing. I first go to my stat button. So push your stat button right here in the middle, stat, and then we go to edit to put our points in. 1 and 4 and 2 and 7 and 3 and 4. So once I've got my 3 points in there, I can now go stat, calculate, and now we want quadratic. So the quadratic regression. I need to tell it where to find the points. So I go second L1, comma, second L2. And then if I want it to graph it afterwards, I'm going to add one more comma. So I'll show you this, that it works. This is giving it to me in general form. So it's giving me y equals negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 5. Or I suppose I could have written plus and negative 5 if I had more room. So there's my equation that we can then use, and I could plug in there. If I wanted to do one more thing, I'm going to go again, go to stat, edit, and then stat, calculate. I'm going to do quadratic regression again, quadratic, and again I push L1, comma, L2. I'm telling it where the x values are, where the y values are, and then I'm going to put a comma again. This time I'm going to push my vars button. So right here in the middle, vars. Go over to y variables, and I'm going to tell it after it's found the equation to paste those values into my y1. So x values, y values, what I want you to do with the equation once you found it. Hit enter. There's the equation. If I go to my y, it's pasted it in there for me. And then if I go to my graph, there is my graph. If I even want it to, it could plot my points. I can go to plot on. The x list is my L1s, my y list is my L2s, so I'm all good there. Hit my graph, and there's my points, and there's the line that goes through them all. All right, hopefully you find that helpful and you're able to work that through. One more example that I'm going to throw out here are examples where we have storyline problems. So I'm going to have a bridge. My bridge is going to look like this. And the storyline might say something like, the cable's attached 30 meters above the bridge, and the whole bridge is, let's say, 100 meters long. So I have to try and find the equation for this cable that does this along the bridge. And let's say I even know that at its lowest point, the cable is 2 meters away from the deck of the road. the first thing I need to do is I need to create points on a grid. So I'm going to imagine putting my vertex right here, right at the beginning of the road. And then that gives me some nice points that I can play with. This one here is going to be 0, 30. And since it's 100 meters across, I'm going to have another point over here, which is going to be 100, 30. And then my last point has to be right smack dab in the middle. So this thing is going to be 50, something. And it's 2 units above the road, so this is going to be just 50, 2. And then my parabola that I need to create is going to go like that, and it wants the equation of that parabola. Again, I could do that by hand, or I could let my stats do the talking for me. So I'm going to stat, edit, 0 and 30, 50, and 2, and 100, 30. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go stat, stat, calculate quad reg. And it's going to pull up my quadratic regression thing. So again, L1, X list, L2, Y list, vars, Y vars, function, Y1. So it'll paste it into Y1 when it's done. And there's my equation for me. So my C value is 30, my B value is negative 1.12, and my A value is 0.0112, which I could get as fractions if I wanted to. So 7/625. And then again, if I go to my graph here, I'm not going to see much of it because it's all above where I'm looking. But if I change my window to go from 0 to 100, and my Y to go from 0 to 30, there is my lovely little graph. And you can see it travels right through the center of those 3 points. Hopefully you find this helpful. And other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me.